Okay, Charlie. Katie, we're going to ask you a different question.
Okay.
What's the biggest problem facing Jamestown right now, and how can it be resolved?
Okay. Well, I think one of the biggest problems facing Jamestown right now is the challenges that we're trying to meet with our infrastructure and how it is aging. Many of the sewer lines for the sanitary sewer system have exceeded their usable life. Many are over 115 years old, and even using the modern materials of today, they have a lifetime of about 50 years. So as you can tell, even the materials that we can use today would have exceeded their useful life. So there's going to be a plan to replace some of those. And the floods of 1997 and this past couple years have really magnified some of those problems as we've seen the infiltration into the sanitary sewer system from groundwater. So I think that that is going to be one of our top issues we're going to have to take care of to help our city continue to grow and develop.
Thank you. DWAINE, the city approved taking half of the sales tax to pay for infrastructure improvements. How should the city prioritize the use of this revenue?
Well, the city did take 1/2 of the economic development tax for infrastructure, and the ordinance, as I understand it, has prioritized that to buy down special assessments to the tune of 25% of all special assessment projects in the city. This includes sewers, streets, and so on. So as far as prioritizing that, I believe that has already taken place. The question, as I see, is will there be any money left out of that approximate $1 million a year after the first priority is taken care of to use any of that additional money for the second priority, which was economic infrastructure for economic development. And I believe if there is any money left, that should be for infrastructure for economic development that benefits the entire community. And as I have said previously, I do believe that one of the largest economic engines that we have in Jamestown is the Jamestown Civic Center. And I do think that we should look at seeing if any of that money could possibly be used because that facility does need to be upgraded to make Jamestown more of a community that can host the medium and moderate sized conventions that really like to come to this city.
Okay. Charlie, I have another question for you. So don't answer that. Don't answer DWAINE's. I have another one for you. Will changing the boundaries of the Renaissance zone encourage a higher level of interest for business development in the community?
Well, it could if we get the right area to change. We've had several meetings, several input meetings with the public to try to find areas that are blighted, underused, that could stir some development. There are some great benefits with the Renaissance zone, mostly tax benefits and income tax benefits, but it doesn't give any money up front, which is kind of bad because it doesn't help someone get started with that. And we've had over 20 projects, I think it's something like 23 projects, and they've benefited for 5 years with income tax breaks and tax credits. If we could get more information out on that, which we're trying to do, and try to encourage people to fix up their properties, I think it could be used more. And we have an opportunity right now to add 3 blocks that are like an island away from our present zone, and we're looking at some areas that could develop. So.
Okay. Damien, in what areas could the city and county cooperate more effectively to improve efficiency and utilization of resources?
Well, they already use the same snow removal equipment during blizzards and things like that. I think an ongoing relationship that way would work. Rural water is another issue. The city could tap into the rural water, and rural water could also tap into the city's system as well if need be for expansion.
Okay. Katie, what direction would you see the city moving toward as it determines its future goals? And how will that direction be funded?
Okay. Well, I think that we have kind of established a direction already. We're going to see the Jamestown Regional Medical Center develop in the southwest portion of Jamestown. And as the development there increases and businesses want to go towards that facility, which will certainly be an incentive for businesses to go that direction and for future development that way, that could be one of the areas that we'll see tapped. Some of the obstacles that we're going to come across when we go to that area is the water supply. It has been stated that the Jamestown Regional Medical Center will receive its supply of water by boring underneath the interstate to supply the amount of water that will be required for their facility. That will not be enough water to supply for the future of development there. In fact, Engineer Schwarzkopf and the city building inspector have both said that they just couldn't allow additional building to happen there without more water supply because for fire protection. So one of the ways that we're going to have to plan for development there is the possibility of a water tower. And I think economic development funds are in place. That's why we have the JSCC board to look at some of those options and to help us decide how to spend those sales tax dollars for economic development. And that seems like a viable option.
Okay. DWAINE, what do you think about curbside pickup recycling program? Why and how should it be funded?
Well, currently Jamestown does support the recycling center. I think we all are in favor of recycling. The question is the cost associated with curbside pickup. And obviously, if there's going to be curbside pickup of recycled materials, it's going to have to be by user fees. And I think the next step we have to look to is to establish what those fees would cost the residents of Jamestown, and see if there is support among the residents to pay that price.
Damien, what do you think about curbside recycling?
I think it's a good thing. It'll save room in the landfill in the future, in which case I believe that the cost could be held down to the user.
Charlie, I'll ask you that same question.
Well, you know, I've been involved with this recycling for, I can't imagine how many years, but we've gone from a semi parked on the street to a one building that we all grew back to our present facility that we have now. And it's been strictly a voluntary effort on parts of people that really are recyclers. And we have people move into our community that just can't believe that we don't recycle here. Now there's a group working right now to come up with a plan for curbside recycling. There was a survey done by the Jamestown College group, and they found that a great percentage of people want to have curbside recycling, and a good percentage of them are willing to pay extra each month. But along with that, we have to go to pay-as-you-go system of paying for this. In other words, the less garbage you have, the less fee that you would have. If you don't recycle, you have to have a greater charge, and that's the only fair way you can do it. You have to give people an incentive to recycle more, and curbside recycling would make it easier. We get more volume for recycling, and maybe eventually we'll get away from the city having to subsidize the recycling program.
Katie, I'm going to ask you that same question.
Okay. Everyone gets to answer this
one. This one you all get to answer, yeah.
Sure. Well, of course, personally, I'm in favor of recycling, and I encourage everyone to make an effort to reduce their carbon footprint on the planet. And as the owner of Martinizing Dry Cleaning, we have taken efforts to do some environmentally sound practices. We switched to a solvent that's a biodegradable solvent. We use energy efficient equipment in this facility, and we also recycle there. We take in the recycling of the wire hangers and plastic bags. You can actually just bring them right down to the store to take care of those recycling items. However, when it comes to curbside recycling, I think that this is an issue of the City Council spending the citizens' money, and this has to be something that the citizens would be in support of, because it's really their money that we're spending, and it has to be a cost analysis that works out. I don't believe that the studies will find that the reduction to the landfill will be an efficient exchange for the recycling.